If you're a cryptocurrency investor and you're looking at second citizenship, second residence, living somewhere else in order to lower your taxes, this is the video for you. We're going to talk about the best citizenships for crypto investors, how you can get them, and how you can become more free, pay less tax, and if you're a US citizen, how you can get rid of your US tax obligations. Let's see them. Hey, it's Rafael Cinchan here from the Wealthy Expat channel. As I make more videos here, I talk to so many crypto investors. I've already helped over 12 crypto investors lower their taxes, set a base in a place like Dubai, the UAE, or get second citizenship through investment. And I've noticed that a lot of people are very confused when it comes to getting second citizenship. Which second citizenship should they get if they're crypto investors? The best ones, if you are looking at getting citizenship very quickly in the next 6 months, potentially 4 to 5 months, those would be the citizenship by investment countries. There's about 11, 12, depending on how you consider citizenship by investment. The most expensive one being Malta, which is the best passport out of all of them. That one is over $1 million donation. So you actually lose over $1 million in order to get one of the best passports in the world. And I've helped one particular gentleman get Maltese citizenship. It's not the best for everybody in crypto, because I know that if you put $1 million towards getting a Maltese citizenship, that million can turn into 5 million, 10 million, 20 million if you just hold Bitcoin or you hold other cryptocurrencies. So for a lot of crypto investors, Malta doesn't really make much sense, even though it is on paper a better passport than all the other ones. The ones that make more sense are the Caribbean countries, Caribbean citizenship by investment, specifically Dominica and St. Lucia and Antigua. Dominica and Antigua are two particular countries, Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica being an island. Those actually let you sell crypto in order to pay for the citizenship by investment. In the case of St. Kitts, which is the country that I chose, I paid for my St. Kitts passport from my business income, post-tax business income. I had to pay taxes on that money, so it cost me quite a lot. It cost me $150,000 for the donation plus the tax that I paid on that, and then I paid for that particular passport from business income, not cryptocurrency income. When it comes to crypto, St. Kitts is a little bit backwards. They don't, let's say, accept crypto profits in order to pay the passport. You can use crypto profits to pay for the passport, but it is much of a complicated process compared to Dominica and Antigua. A lot of people go for Antigua because it is a little bit better passport than Dominica. It is a little bit more respected. A lot of people have been talking about how Antigua and Barbuda, which are two islands, they're disputing each other and they're thinking about separating into two different countries. I don't really see that happening over the next couple of years, and the people that got Antigua and Barbuda citizenship would probably just become a citizen of both countries, or the country of Antigua if they do separate later on, because Antigua has more people and more population. If you're worried about that, I can make a separate video on Antigua and Barbuda and if they will ever separate. So Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, you could say St. Lucia as well. St. Kitts is a little bit of a better passport than all the others. They do have more visa-free travel. That's why I chose them, but they don't allow you to sell crypto in order to pay for the passport. Other misconceptions that people have when it comes to citizenship by investment in the Caribbean is that if they can pay for the passport in crypto, can you actually send Bitcoin to the country? If you're paying for a $100,000 passport, can I send 1.9 Bitcoin to pay for the passport? No. You need to sell the Bitcoin or sell the crypto that you have, go to fiat in a bank account, show that bank account during your application. They need to see that you have actual money in your bank account to pay for the passport, and then you pay from that bank account. You don't pay from crypto. That's also a misconception. The Caribbean countries tend to be the best because they don't really care about your crypto holdings. They don't ask what your net worth is. They're not going to tax you the rest of your life, and they are pretty good passports that let you travel to many countries all over the world, specifically if you're a US citizen, for example, Canadian citizen, Australian, but specifically US citizens that want to renounce US citizenship. As you probably know, unless you live under a rock and you never pay taxes, if you're a US citizen, you actually need to pay capital gains taxes on your crypto as a regular US resident would, no matter where you live in the world. So the only way to get rid of that is either by moving to Puerto Rico or by getting a second citizenship. St. Kitts, St. Lucia, Antigua, Grenada, whichever one of these passports that you want to get will allow you to renounce your citizenship and then have the freedom to do whatever you want and not pay taxes for the rest of your life, because a lot of these Caribbean countries won't chase you down for that tax money. Other countries that you might consider here are Vanuatu, which is a chain of islands in the Pacific Ocean. It is the worst citizenship program, honestly, because they don't promote it that well. It's not really structured in the way that the Caribbean ones are structured, and it's not really respected all over the world. A lot of criminals have gotten Vanuatu citizenship, so wouldn't go for that one. And the other options that you have are Turkey, Montenegro right now, which is going away, and then North Macedonia and other countries like Jordan or Egypt, which won't make much sense for most people here. So those are the other options. Montenegro is going away. You probably won't have a chance to get into that. And North Macedonia, also a potential one. You can sell crypto profits in order to pay for the Macedonia fund that you need to pay the 200,000 euro in order to get that citizenship. So that could also be a potential one that you might be looking at. If you're looking at more long-term processes, how can I get a citizenship in 5 years, 6 years, without sacrificing paying taxes on my crypto? Because that's obviously something that you're thinking about. I want to get a second passport, ideally a really good passport, but I don't want to pay capital gains taxes to a country like Spain, for example, that I've talked about. You pay 23%, 25%, maybe you pay a wealth tax on your crypto, so that doesn't really make any sense. The best country in that way would be Portugal. Portugal has their golden visa. Portugal is very crypto friendly. There is no taxes on crypto, or at least it's not specified in the tax code, therefore that you don't pay capital gains tax on cryptocurrencies. So you can get the Portugal golden visa. You don't need to live in Portugal, and you don't even need to learn proper Portuguese in order to get the citizenship, but it is a longer process of 5 years, even 6 years to get the actual passport. So if you're a US citizen, you want to renounce ASAP, this is probably not the best option for you. There are other countries like, for example, Ecuador, who have talked about giving citizenship to people that invest in a bank account in the country. So basically you put $40,000 into an Ecuadorian bank account and you actually leave it there. You gain about 8% interest per year, and then you live there 3 years, and then after those 3 years or even 5 years, you can get Ecuadorian citizenship and then renounce your other citizenship. The Ecuadorian passport, not the best in the world, so probably not the most attractive to people. People have also talked about the Paraguayan passport, but the reality is a lot of these countries, they want you to live there most of the time. A lot of them have restrictions of 180 days per year. So if you go to Paraguay, you get a residence permit very simply with about 5,000 bucks, you get a residence permit in the country, and then you go for 1 week per year. You come back 5 years later and you say, okay, where's my passport? They're probably not going to accept you, specifically if you don't learn Spanish or integrate yourself into the culture and the country. They're not going to give you a passport. Other countries that you might look at in order to gain citizenship later on and still not pay taxes on your crypto, it might be Malta, for example. Malta grants you citizenship after living there for a long period of time. You do need to learn Maltese, you do need to stay there for a long time, and they don't have tax on crypto. Actually, don't tax it if it's long-term capital gains. So if your long-term crypto holdings, if you're, for example, I was talking to a gentleman, he has over 300 million in crypto, hasn't sold it since 2012. In that case, if you're not going to sell it in the next 2, 3, 5 years, then you could potentially pay 0% tax while living in Malta and working towards Maltese citizenship. But in that case, if you have $300 million in Bitcoin or in crypto, then you might want to look at just spending 1 million, getting the Maltese citizenship, and then not worrying about living there or getting taxed on long term or doing, you have more freedom to do whatever you want. Other citizenships that I would look at is look at your family tree, where your grandparents from, where your parents from, you potentially married to somebody from another country. I helped one client in crypto as well get citizenship by marriage from his wife. She has a pretty good passport. He can get it as well. His kids were born in that country. Very easy case to build together and actually get him citizenship. So you could also look at your family. Maybe your grandparents come from Hungary, your parents come from Spain, whichever country it is, and you could potentially get citizenship very easily. It does take a while. After COVID, it's been taking about a year to get citizenship by descent, but you could still get a really good passport, specifically if your parents come from the UK or Europe or countries like Latin America, for example, like Chile has a very strong passport. You could get citizenship by descent, save yourself 100 grand, even $1 million. You could get it in about a year, maybe 2 years. It could be faster, but don't count on it. And then you could renounce your US citizenship, or you have at least a plan B. If you're from, I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs and investors here from Australia and New Zealand and Canada and UK. You don't need a second citizenship now, but maybe later on, after 3-5 years, you will have to get a second citizenship because Australia imposes citizenship-based taxation, or they give you restrictions if you don't have a second citizenship, or the exchanges starts to close you off because you have Australian citizenship. So in that case, working towards a second passport like a Portugal Golden Visa, or citizenship by descent, or citizenship by marriage, in all of these cases would work really well. I recently made a video on the best countries for crypto investors to live in, and you can also check out that video to see what countries you could potentially live in, pay zero tax, and work towards getting a second citizenship. That could work really well for you if you don't need a citizenship now or in the next couple of few months that you need to renounce your US citizenship, for example. And one last word of caution that I want to leave you with when working towards a second citizenship, specifically when you're a crypto investor and you want to avoid taxes, be careful when looking at countries that are great for taxes for crypto, like the Republic of Georgia, Malaysia, other countries that might have territorial-based tax systems, or places like Thailand, where it's almost impossible to become a tax resident. Those countries typically don't lead to citizenship. In the case of Georgia, you could get citizenship in about 7 to 8 years, but you need to learn the language, which is pretty much impossible if you've ever seen their alphabet. And you need to integrate yourself into the country in a way where they actually grant you the citizenship and they accept you as a citizen. In Malaysia, you can pretty much forget about it unless you live there for about 10 years or more. And places like, for example, Singapore, very hard to get citizenship now. Even wealthy entrepreneurs that are worth over 50 million, 100 million are not even getting Singaporean citizenship. So some places you do need to be very careful. They're great for tax, but not great for the citizenship aspect. If you want help getting a second citizenship, second residence, you want to lower your taxes, I've helped people, many people around the world do this, as well as I myself have done it. So I have the experience to help you directly. Click that first link in the description, book a one-on-one call with me. Let's get together. Let's find out what your goals are, what strategy fits you, and how we can get you that second citizenship, potentially renounce US citizenship, protect your assets, get a second residence, whatever it is that you want to do. Let's discuss it on a call. And if you want to find out the best countries to live for crypto investors that don't necessarily lead towards citizenship, but they're great places to live that you can pay 0% tax on your capital gains, check out the video that is right here, the top 10 zero tax countries in the world. You'll get a lot of value from it, and you can potentially move to one of those countries and pay 0% tax, as well as have a great quality of life. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, that like button down below, and I will see you on the next video.